The grocery store discontinued our favorite croutons, so what's a salad lover supposed to do? Well, how about make my own croutons? Not only can I control the ingredients, but I can control the flavor profile as well. And guess what? They are super easy to make too. So let's get started. Hi friend, come on in. I want to get started on these homemade croutons by starting with a day-old loaf of bread. This loaf of bread is a modified version of my Polish bread. I used 1 tablespoon of butter instead of 3 tablespoons to make this bread. I want the spices to shine through and not the butter for these particular croutons. But if you want to have a more buttery garlic crouton, definitely use the higher amount of butter. If you don't have a homemade loaf or don't want to make one, a French baguette or an Italian loaf will work perfectly and are easy to get. An unsliced loaf will also work but might be harder to get. I want to get this bread cut up into cubes. I am removing the side and bottom crusts because I am looking for a softer crouton. The side and bottom crust can be more crusty and can affect the texture of the croutons. This is obviously personal preference, but don't toss the crusts. Those can be turned into breadcrumbs and can be used for other dishes. Making croutons has been on my list for a while, and with the summer salad season right around the corner, it felt like the perfect time to finally do it. Croutons are usually cut between a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. I went on the bigger side here, and I found them a little too big for my personal tastes. I used about half of the loaf, and that gave me just shy of 8 cups of breadcrumbs. I am making a double batch here, and this was more than enough to fill a regular sheet pan. I put the bread cubes in a wide bowl so I could evenly distribute the spices and oil. My bowl wasn't light enough to get a nice toss on the bread cubes, so I used a spatula to toss the bread and spices together. To the bread cubes, I added in 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, a large pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of dried garlic, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and about 6 tablespoons of olive oil divided. I added the oil in batches to make sure I could get an even distribution as I was tossing the bread cubes. Once I felt I had everything evenly distributed, I dumped the bread onto the baking sheet and spread the cubes out into a single layer. This will go into a 350 Fahrenheit or 175 Celsius oven for about 10 minutes. I gave them a stir halfway through the process to make sure they are getting color on as many sides as possible. Once they are golden, they can be removed, cooled, and used. But if you want to store them, make sure they are completely dry. I turned the oven off and left them in for another 5 minutes to make sure they were completely dried. We like to enjoy green salads with croutons over the summer, but this isn't an everyday thing, so I want my croutons to be completely dry so they don't mold in the container between salad days. If they're even a little soft inside, they are holding moisture and will spoil faster. I let my croutons cool on the baking sheet before putting them in a large mason jar for storage. I enjoyed these fresh from the oven and as they cooled off. It was hard to keep from snacking on them. They were so good. These croutons turned out so easy and so good, I am already thinking of new ways to play with different spices and flavors for next time. This batch was a simple onion and garlic flavor, but I'm now imagining a buttery garlic version, an Italian herb blend, or even a spicy chili twist. If you have a favorite combination you love, share that below so we can all give it a try. If you haven't seen my Polish bread recipe, it's linked at the end and in the cards. It makes a great sandwich bread and fantastic croutons. And if you want more easy pantry recipes like this, hit subscribe. I'd love to have you here, and thanks for hanging out with me.